Welcome to this episode of Our Quest. This is Dimple Mehta, and today we will talk about how exercise helps you to have a healthy mind. Please do subscribe to the show so that you get the latest episodes first. I am always grateful to you for taking out the time to listen to these podcasts, and I hope this episode further contributes towards your growth. If you like the episode, give us a quick rating or review on Apple Podcast. That helps the episode to organically reach more people who would find it useful and beneficial. You can also screenshot and share on Instagram and tag us at dimple.ourquest. More people can then listen and benefit from these. Joining us today is a gorgeous Fletcher Pilates instructor, healer, founder and managing director of Yasmin Karachiwala's Pad Fitness in Dubai. So here we have this young, dynamic energy with us, Shaazia Qureshi.
Welcome to the show, Shaazia.
Thank you so much, Dimple. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so good to see you again. And I'm super excited about what we are going to record now.
Me too. I'm excited.
So before I begin shooting questions to you, let's first hear your story. What's your journey?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's really great to be here. And my journey is, I guess, as everyone's, is an interesting one. Everyone has their own stories to how they've come to where they are. I started as a fat kid. Let me start like that.
Which is difficult to believe.
Yeah, and in my head, I'm still a fat kid. I don't think that ever leaves you. But growing up, I was always on different diets. Every month or every 3 months, my mom would take me to a different dietitian to kind of see how I could lose weight. From the time I was like 13, I've been on diets. And so as I kind of got older, weight loss became a really big obsession in my life. I would check my weight every single day, and that number on the scale would define how I felt for the rest of the day. If I was like 500 grams down, I'd feel amazing, and if I was 200 grams up, I'd like be really upset and would ruin my day. And I didn't realize the impact it had on me, and to date it still has on me, which is why I kind of do what I do today as well, and I'll come to that in a second. So I lost all my weight through a surgery, stomach surgery. But I became thin, and I thought, well, here's a solution to my problem. I just need to undergo this surgery, and then I've lost the weight, and my weight loss problem is gone, right? But it doesn't work like that, because you're not fat in your body, you're fat in your head. And your image problem is not your actual image problem. It's just the way you look at yourself in the mirror. And so as I kind of continued on my journey, I met my husband. And he was really into fitness when I met him. And even though I had lost all this weight, and even though Yasmin Karachiwala is my aunt, I really never got into fitness. But when I met Abbas, that's my husband, he was into fitness, and he would go to the gym like 2 hours a day. And I would be bored sitting at home when I married him first. So I would go with him just to give him company. And I'd be like correcting his form and correcting his posture.
Even though he was the fitness freak.
Yes. And the reason was, I had been to the gym, but I hated it. I hated that feeling of being sore for like a week after. The first time you go to the gym, you're sore for a week, and I hated that feeling of being sore after. And I didn't ever feel like going back. But because Yasmin was my aunt, I would go to the gym like 10 or 12 times a year. Over 15 years, that adds up, right? So I learned a fair bit from going to those gyms, those 150 times. And because I'm an observant learner, I think when I saw my husband working out, I was like, pull your belly in and put your back straight. And he was like, how do you know all this?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know. I guess I just learned it from watching people. And so when my aunt told me to become, start her studio, her Pilates studio here in Dubai, I said, I thought it was a business opportunity, and I said yes.
Okay.
But then she said I had to become a Pilates instructor. And I really didn't know what that meant. So I just kind of said, whatever, okay. Went to Arizona, did my training.
Whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll go
I mean,
all
it's fine.
across.
I was like, it's fine. Like, if something I have to do, I have to do it. I'm quite an impulsive person like that. But at the end of it, what I came out with was so much of confidence in my body, which, by the way, is still not every day, but so much of appreciation for the human body, and so much more understanding of the way our mind and body works together.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, that's a little bit of my journey.
That's amazing. And I cannot believe that you were never always perfect in terms
It's
of being.
very far from it even today.
So let me ask you the first question that's on my mind. What's the relationship between exercise and a healthy mind?
There's a very direct correlation, actually, and there are millions of studies literally to prove it. That when you feel good in your body, it automatically makes you feel better in your mind. So I'm going to actually take you back to a story. Back when I had just met my husband, it was an arranged marriage, and we were just courting each other and getting to know each other. And during that time, I was very, very focused on my work, and I was absolutely killing it at my job. I used to work with my dad, and my now husband was very into fitness. And I used to never go to the gym, even though Yasmin Karachiwala is like my aunt and the whole world goes to her. I never went, and it was always a problem between us. So one day, my now husband and I were talking, and he was like, "Well, why don't you work out?" And I was like, I have no time to work out because there's just too many things I want to do in life and I want to change the world. And if I want to do so much, where is the time to work out? And he turned around and he said to me, but when you work out, you feel so much better that you show up better to the rest of your life. So right now, you're showing up 100% of the time, but you're only 70% of yourself.
That's so true.
If you give 1 hour of your day to a workout, you show up 100% to the rest 90% of your day. And suddenly that struck something in me, and I was like, that makes sense. And that was the kind of day that turned it around for me. And I decided I wanted to work out for myself. So, and of course, when I did that, I realized that it had a very strong correlation because as soon as it says you're only one workout away from a good mood, you're never going to regret a good workout. All of those sayings are because it's true. You, no matter how crappy your day is going, you go in for a workout, you finish that hour, and you leave feeling energized and amplified. It releases serotonin, it releases hormones, and you're just going to leave feeling better. So there's no reason really not to do it.
Amazing. And kudos to Abbas to push you, to enable you, to motivate you and make that shift. And now you're full fledged into workouts. Yeah. I mean, your aunt couldn't do that to you.
Nope,
But he did
nobody
it.
could. He takes full credit.
Amazing. Let's now look at how can exercise help? What are the benefits one gets by exercising regularly?
Take this from someone who never exercised regularly. It is absolutely life changing. I think exercise sometimes becomes a word that people get scared of or that has a negative connotation because there's so much hype around it, right? Like
Yeah.
exercise does this and exercise does that. But the truth is, it's just movement.
Yeah.
We are animals that have two hands and two legs, and we are meant to use them to move them. We are not meant to be seated in a chair staring at a screen or multiple screens all day long. And that's what our life has become. So when we talk about exercise and it's important to do it consistently, the one thing I want to say is it's important to just get your limbs moving. And the more you do that, the better you're going to feel, the
Sheer
better your
nature.
blood is going to flow, right? So and also, I want to say that our emotions are very closely interlinked with movement, with our posture, and our posture is very closely interlinked with our movement.
Really?
Yeah. So, a lot of people think bad posture comes merely from sitting on your screen for 6 to 8 hours a day, which it is possible, it can. But bad posture also comes from being ashamed of your body. So people will hunch forward when they're ashamed of their body, and that causes bad posture. And actually, when you're hunched forward, you can't breathe properly. And when you can't breathe properly, there's not enough oxygen going into your brain or into the rest of your body parts, and it affects everything. So, what exercise or what movement does is it simply changes those patterns. It gets your joints to move, it gets your blood to flow. If you're doing the right kind of exercise and you're doing it with someone who knows what they're teaching, hopefully, which you are, you can really get your body to move more efficiently. And a simple thing like being able to change your posture from forward rounded to just straight back, which by the way you can't do just by thinking about it. You have to have your muscles stay there to help you there. Helps you breathe better, and that extra oxygen causes your life to become exponentially better. So something as simple as that, right? So exercise, movement, and emotions, I would say, are all very closely interlinked, and it has movement has a huge impact on your mood and on your mind both.
Lovely. And as simple as it sounds, it's that critical to have a healthy life, right? I mean, breath, for example. Yeah.
Breath is actually my favorite topic because when people come to me as clients, the first thing that I do in the first 15 minutes, and this may sound crazy to some people, is make them breathe.
Wow.
In fact, I've just started a breathing class at the
Wow.
studio, which is literally 1 hour of just different kinds of breathing. Because the one thing people are not taught is how to breathe. And it's the one thing that we do from
You
the
need the most.
second
Yeah.
we're born to the second we die. It's the only form of exercise that we do every second of our life.
True.
So, yeah, breathe.
So let's say listening to this podcast, I feel motivated that I'm going to work out, I'm going to take care of my body, take care of my life, and I want to exercise. But then I've never exercised in my life before. And I don't know which exercise to start with. What's going to suit me? Which one is it that would suit my caliber? Maybe I'm big now. How to choose which exercise to practice?
So, the one thing that I would recommend not to do is go onto YouTube and follow a video. That is the one thing you should absolutely not do. And that is the one thing that most people do. It's like today decided to start working out, and I'm going to put on some random YouTube channel and follow this person because my friend does it. And that is one thing that's really not good for you. So if you want to start somewhere, there are there are literally a million options. One is today exercise studios and gyms are at every nook and corner. If you feel intimidated by studios and gyms, that's fine. Put on your walking shoes, grab a partner, go out for a walk, go on to the beach. It's an even better workout. See the sunset or the sunrise if you're a morning person. Go for a swim in the ocean. Decide that you're going to take swimming classes if you don't know how to swim. Go for cycling with your kids. There's a million things you can do. The one thing that I would recommend most people who haven't worked out before is try and get in time with a personal trainer, because every person's body is a little bit different, and every person has different things that they need to work on. So if you're somebody who already suffers from sitting too much, then if you just decide cycling is the thing you want to do, that's great. But have you stretched before? Do you know how to stretch after? Do you know which muscles are getting tight? You probably don't, because you've never worked out before. So what a trainer and a knowledgeable one is going to do is teach you, these are the muscles in your body that are tight, these are the muscles that are weak, this is what you need to strengthen. Once you have that knowledge and you understand how to work them, you can literally go out and the world is your oyster. But start with someone who understands your body, who can teach you about your body, and who isn't just teaching you exercise and counting numbers, but is really teaching you about your body, because that's a lesson that you'll take for your entire life.
This is so true, and I totally agree with it. I have been practicing yoga all my life. It was there in our school, it was there in my college, and then I loved it, so I did it even then. But after I delivered my baby, I had a big pause for 6 months. I had a C section, I had stitches, and all of that. So when I had to resume yoga after 6 months of delivery, I definitely needed a personal trainer, and I saw the
Yeah.
magic that the personal trainer could do. There were things about my body I didn't know. There were muscles about my body I didn't know. There were strengths and weaknesses I didn't know. There were posture issues I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I totally vouch for having a personal trainer. To have a personal trainer can give you the benefits that you're going to be thankful for all your life.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I'm glad we're on the same page and you're talking to a personal trainer, Dimple.
Now that we've chosen which form of exercise to do, and then we have somehow pushed ourselves to work out, we still have this excuse in front of us. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I have these commitments. Oh, I have these meetings. What do I do? And we tend to push the exercise back. We tend to procrastinate. We tend to kind of get out of it. So, what to do so that we can include exercise in our daily life as a regular practice?
That's a really good question. Um, because I think we all need to ask ourselves one very simple thing, right? We say we don't have time for exercise or for movement or for ourselves, really. That's what we're really saying. We don't have time for ourselves, because we've prioritized other things over our own health and well being. We've prioritized work, we've prioritized friends, we've prioritized sleep, we've prioritized socializing, we've prioritized our family, whatever, right? Because when you make something a priority, you make time for it. So when you're saying, I don't have time for something, you just haven't made it a priority. Um, what happens when you're in so much pain that you can't get out of the bed? What happens when you're walking down a staircase and you trip and your ankle is broken or fractured just because it hasn't had movement? What happened when you're sitting up and one day you stand up and you feel your lower back crack and it's a slip disc, right? What happens on those days?
Suddenly, exercise is your priority.
Suddenly, the only thing that matters is, who do I go to? Who can help me, right? Because then your pain becomes your priority. But why do we have to wait for that day, for that pain to become so overpowering that we have no option but to do something about it, right? And we have that choice every day that we don't exercise or that we do exercise. We are making that choice to go one step closer to a healthy life and a healthy body, or an unhealthy one. So to me, the question is really simple. Are you prioritizing your health, your well-being, and yourself to a level where tomorrow you will be able to continue socializing, continue giving time to your family, continue giving time to your friends, and get great sleep after a good workout, versus do all of those other things today, and exactly 10 years from now you're going to be stuck in bed not being able to do any of those things, wishing, shit, I wish I had started earlier, right? It's, as human beings, I think it's really hard for us to think about long term benefits because we're so impulsive in our nature. We want everything instantly, right? We want instant results. We want, like, I've gone to the gym 3 times a week and my weight has not changed, or like, I've dieted for this long and nothing has happened. There is no instant results when it comes to your health. There aren't, unfortunately. And some forms of fitness claim that they are, 20 minutes once a week or twice a week and you're done. But there aren't any quick fixes. The only thing that you can do is keep moving. And I'm not saying you need to have abs, or you need to have strong muscle, or your body fat percentage needs to be something. You just need to be moving and agile and being able to run behind your kids without falling and breaking something. That should be the goal. The goal should be to live a functional life. And if that is your goal, to live a functional life, then movement has to be part of it. There is just no other option.
So sooner or later, you have to prioritize it. The
Yes.
decision lies in your hands.
Yeah, the when is up to you. So, also I've realized that people who have pain are actually very lucky, because so you have two different people. Both of them have really bad posture, very bad sedentary lifestyles. They're sitting all day. One of them starts getting pain at the age of 35, and the second one is absolutely fine, continuing life, living this horrible posture. The first one gets lower back pain and decides, well, I need to do something about it. This pushes them into finding something that will help heal them, right? They'll find a form of workout that they like. They'll find yoga, they'll find Pilates, they'll find any kind of stretching or movement therapy that they'll enjoy, and they'll start doing it. By the time they're 45, if they've kept up the routine, they're gonna feel amazing. Versus the second person, they haven't had any pain, but at 45, they're probably gonna have two herniated or slip discs, and they're gonna be bedridden for a couple of years. So when you have pain in your body that comes, which isn't really bad, or which isn't like a tear or like something that's permanent, consider yourself lucky and do something about
Maybe
it
it's an
then.
alarm. Yeah.
It is your body telling you, before it gets worse,
Yeah.
please take care of me and do something about it. Unfortunately, some people's bodies don't speak to them, and other people's bodies speak to them, but people just ignore them.
Yeah.
They just keep popping painkillers and
Yeah.
say, it's fine, I'll live like this. So my biggest thing is, don't ignore pain and don't ignore your well-being.
Since you just mentioned that through exercise, even problems can be solved and pain can be healed, let's further explore how can exercise heal people.
So when I started this studio, the pad, it was meant to be an exercise studio. I didn't really think of it as anything more. But as it's been 3.5 years now, I have discovered that movement is actually extremely healing. I've also grown up in a house where we were not really allowed to take any medication for pain or for fever or for anything because my mom's an acupuncturist
Okay,
for the
so
last 12 years.
oh, lovely.
Yeah. And she is a magician healer, absolutely. So if we were ever sick, it would be like, well,
Press
just do
this.
acupuncture,
Okay.
needles in you, and you'll be fine, you know? So we've always grown up knowing that there are always other solutions to pain
Than
than
popping pills.
than pills or doctors.
Yeah.
We used to also not visit doctors, with no offense to doctors. When things got serious, we would visit doctors too. Um, when I got into Pilates, I didn't think I was getting into a healing profession at all. But I've studied Fletcher Pilates and I've studied many other small courses as well. But the foundation is kind of Fletcher Pilates. And what I've discovered is that everybody has very different movement patterns. So I could teach 5 different people the same exercise, but because of the way their body is built and has been living for however long they've been alive, those 5 exercises will feel completely different to 5 different people. And I'll be giving the same cues, but they'll feel different. So I'll have to change my cues based on that person's body. For one person, one muscle is tight, and for the other person, that muscle doesn't work at all,
Yeah.
right? So to figure that out and then to cue a person according to what that body needs, that's where the true healing lies. And I've discovered that um it is it is absolutely incredible to be able to share just through words, um what people are supposed to do and heal their pain. So I have a client, for instance, who came to me with chronic neck and shoulder pain
Okay.
for the last 12 years.
Wow.
She has 2 beautiful children, 8 and 6, and she used to love driving them around. But unfortunately, because of a neck and shoulder pain, she couldn't drive them around. She had been to physiotherapists, chiropractors, tried gym and personal trainers as well, and nothing had really worked. And then she came and she met me. Um, and I thought, okay, well, we need to fix her shoulders, and get her mid back working better. And so we started working on that. But as we did more and more sessions and we got 1 and 2 months into it, I realized that the way she was walking,
Had a
her
problem.
gait
Okay.
was completely off. One side was working totally differently than the other side, and her feet were extremely flat. So I realized that the first time, but I hadn't connected that
That the
her
problem
shoulder
was there.
problem was because of the way she was walking.
Wow.
And so when we started working on her walking and her feet and her gait and her hips as well, first of all, she told me that she used to have these shoes that she wore a year ago before she started with me, which had like insoles that used to support her feet. And she wore them 1 year later, and she was like, my feet feel completely different because my feet, the shape of my feet have changed.
Wow.
Her pain has disappeared completely. She now drives her kids around everywhere. She does her exercises at home on her own because now I've given her like a set of exercises, and her foam roller is like her prized possession because she knows that this roller can relieve her pain and she knows what to do. She doesn't need me to tell her anymore, but she still kind of comes for maintenance, and she lives a perfectly normal life after 12 years of being in pain, right? So if you can find, and I may not be it's not me, right? I happen to find the solution and the key to her problem. But if you can find an instructor who can help you find the key to your problem, or any movement therapist, it's not only healing, it's very life changing.
Thank you so much, Shazia. That was beautiful. So
Thank you.
modest, so insightful, so honest, and so in depth.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for being with us here today and sharing those.
I really appreciate it. It's not often that you get to share everything you've learned, so nicely with someone so wonderful. So it's been really great being here. And I would love to just tell everybody who's listening to get up and move, because there is no better gift that you can give yourself or your loved ones than your health.
Lovely. And for people in Dubai, that's the name that you need to remember. Shaazia Qureshi from the Pad Fitness. She's going to heal you. She's going to make you fit. Probably some acupuncture as well.
Maybe, who knows? Thank you.
You have been listening to Our Quest. Thank you for your time again. If you haven't already, please give us a quick rating on Apple Podcast, and don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram or share your screenshot of the podcast and tag us. Links in description. See you next week, same time, same place.